Now, ladies and gentlemen, please help me to welcome Mr. Kushagra Goswami, Head Solution and Consulting, Public Sector ServiceNow, for the special address. Please help me to welcome him on dais.
Hello, namaskar. Good morning, everyone. Very warm welcome to all of you here, and thank you so much for having me here as well. आज का दिन मेरे लिए बहुत lucky है, especially if I had my grandparents sitting with me here. Both of them, were both my paternal grandparents and maternal grandparents retired from PSUs and other government bodies, and I've seen them. Thank you. And I've seen them work really hard throughout their life. And the most important element in their entire life of hard work was the planning section. And it gives me immense pleasure to talk about how we can plan for the PSUs to turn them into global powerhouses. I think the first most important point, and Abhijit sir said it well, tumse nahi ho payega se tum hi se ho payega. That's the change in attitude that we are looking at. That's the first and the most important point that we need to think about when we are wanting to turn the Indian PSUs into global powerhouses. We don't have to prove ourselves to anybody. With the population size of 1.4 billion, and moving from where we were in 1940s when the first PSU was established in India till now, and PSUs being the backbone of the economy, it has already been proven that we know how to run the businesses. We know what needs to be done. The challenge that we look today is primarily revolving around knowledge and transferring that knowledge. With aging population, with more people, now looking at entrepreneurship, and with more people looking at how do we move beyond just India and look at other opportunities there, how do we make sure that this knowledge that we have can be passed on to the right people and people who have the intent and attitude to turn the PSUs into global powerhouses. When you look at basic things which are enabling people to have the knowledge with them, technology becomes the most important enabler here. If you have technology, you can make sure that you are passing on information, you're passing on tasks, you're passing on what needs to be done at priority, at the right time, and with what is the right team that I need to have with me that gets this done. When you look at future is very unpredictable. Any astrologers in the room? Anyone who likes to do astrology as just for fun's sake? No? Okay. So I don't think any astrologer had predicted that there would be an emergency pandemic known as COVID that came and hit us. It was challenging for all of us. And why I'm bringing this example is, while the future is unpredictable, it is in our hands on how do we prepare for the future. What are the basic elements that are required and that are must have in the ecosystem that helps us to be prepared? When Newton looked at nuclear energy, he never mentioned that this is some energy that can be used in any powerful way. It was a very small element for him. But recently we were all debating around who has the larger red button next to them and how they can use them and etc. in the international markets. What enables us to be prepared is technology. And today, when I represent ServiceNow on our take of how we can empower and work with PSUs to make them global powerhouses, the most important element I want to talk about is the reusability of our present knowledge. Yes, we have all established systems, we have everything established at the base, but how do we make it reusable? How do we make sure that we are not wasting our times in recreating the wheel for other people, but enabling them in building on top of this? And that's where technology plays the most important role. If you have a reusable data model, as simple as a data model I'm talking about, and for those who are new to technological terms like data models and etc., these are basic building blocks of your organization, where you want to know citizen data, where you want to know details about other people, where you want to know what my process looks like, and where are the bottlenecks in the processes and etc. are present. When these data models are established and you're wanting to bring policy changes, new inclusions and etc., this can be done on a click of button if you are empowered and enabled on technologies like ServiceNow, which is again essential. And while I represent ServiceNow, the larger picture that I have in my mind is how do we make sure that our country gets represented right at the top when it comes from process building perspective, when it comes from governance perspective, when it comes from cyber resilience perspective. I think a very important point touched by Innocent sir here around the cybersecurity aspect and making sure that our governance layer is pretty solid before we get into any optimization or efficiency driven talks that we do. I like to leave, I know, it is, as Innocent sir mentioned, it is difficult to come after Gokul sir and Abhijit sir. Look at my plight coming after all of them and trying to put a point here. But the only point, the last point that I'll want to share with all of you before I leave the stage is attitude, aging population, resilience, and basic fundamentals of doing the right things. If you have this and you have the technology to empower your people to do this, we can definitely turn any place into a global powerhouse. And especially with the leadership that we have in our country, there are no doubts that we can do this even faster. Thank you. Jai Hind.